After my arch-rival smashed me in the head with a basketball, I got a superpower. I can see who other people are fantasizing about. It's mortifying, but also a little thrilling. And when I thought about my rival, who was always at my throat, "Heh, you're so dead this time," until I looked at his forehead and saw my own name, shining right there. What the hell? I'm the one he's fantasizing about? Back in the dorm, I stood at the balcony door, my face flushed red, staring at Alex. He was on the balcony, with my shorts draped over his face. His long, elegant fingers were still holding them in place. From where I was standing, he looked like a total perv, getting off on someone else's underwear. A shiver ran down my spine. I gritted my teeth and hissed his name, "Alex." He flinched, then pinched the corner of my shorts with a look of disgust, pulling them off his face and tossing them at me. "Here, you were sniffing them like your life depended on it a second ago. And now that I've caught you, you act disgusted? Damn it, I'm so pissed. Alex, don't tell me you have a crush on me." Alex, all 6 feet 2 inches of him, was taking his clothes down from the drying rack. He let out a cold laugh, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. "On you?" he scoffed. "Then why were you holding my shorts?" After grabbing his clothes, the giant loomed over me. "You didn't clip them. They fell when I was getting my shirt. It's that simple." His explanation made perfect sense, but for some reason, something still felt off. Still, he'd explained himself, so I couldn't really press the issue. Otherwise, it'd look like I was desperate to accuse a guy of having a thing for my shorts. Humph. You'd better be telling the truth. Alex and I grew up together. By all accounts, we should have been best friends or buddies, but we ended up as arch rivals. He was the quiet, reserved type, but people were effortlessly drawn to him. Meanwhile, I'd bend over backwards to maintain friendships, only to overhear my so-called friends making fun of me. I don't know what Lewis is so smug about. If it weren't for Alex being friends with him, who would even bother, right? Does he really think we like hanging out with him? He played basketball every day, yet his grades never dropped from the top spot in our year. I studied day and night, but I was always the perennial number 2, stuck right behind him. Even our parents would say, "Lewis, you need to work a little harder. Look at Alex, learn from him, be more focused." I hate milk and I hate sweating, but to break 6 feet, I forced myself to work out and chug the milk I despised every single day. He shot up to 6 feet 2 inches without even trying. No one can easily face the person who always has you beat. I didn't want to admit it, but deep down, I was insanely jealous of Alex. Nobody's a saint. So I couldn't stop myself from hating him. I really, really hated him, especially because Alex, who was so cold to everyone else, was always an absolute jerk to me. "Alex, what's your problem?" Reeking of booze, I stumbled toward him, ready to grab his shirt. But then I saw he had just gotten out of the shower. He was wearing nothing but a white towel wrapped around his waist. I paused. I couldn't bring myself to grab the towel, so I just glared at him. Was it fun messing with me? Because I'm a nice guy and decently handsome, I got invited to a class mixer. They actually told me to invite Alex, too. But I was feeling petty and never told him. And just as I'd planned, with Alex absent, all eyes were on me. Felt great to be the center of attention for once. I had just started chatting with a cute senior and had a few drinks. Then, I got a text from Alex. "The RA is coming to do room checks." I immediately ditched the senior I was hitting it off with and sprinted back to the dorm. As soon as I burst in, I frantically asked Alex, "Is he here yet?" Alex just gave me a cold look and sniffed the air. The faint scent of women's perfume clung to me. "You were on a date? None of your damn business." I snapped. "Is the RA here or not?" Alex's face was grim. "Just messing with you," he said, looking furious. My mind went blank with a mix of emotions. I lunged at him, ready to fight. Just as I reached for him, he twisted my arm and slammed me down onto the desk. His towel brushed against my butt. My butt clenched. Fuck, what was that? The next second, Alex let me go. He climbed into his bunk like nothing happened and pulled the curtain shut to change. I was left there, completely stunned. Did something just poke me? I shot a suspicious look at Alex's curtain, but there was no movement. I stood there frozen for a long moment, then cursed under my breath. Psycho. I must have imagined it. It was probably just the knot on the towel. Alex and I are mortal enemies. There's no way he'd get turned on by me, right? Gritting my teeth, I went to the bathroom to wash up. That jerk Alex. He better not slip up and give me an opening. Because one day, I'm going to make him pay. My chance came sooner than I thought. The senior I was talking to added me on WhatsApp. She was in the photography club and was going to the basketball court for a shoot. Even though I have zero interest in photography, for a cute girl, interests can be acquired. I went with her and helped her get set up. It was a little depressing how her eyes lit up every time they landed on Alex, but we still had a good conversation. She wanted some water, and I volunteered to open the bottle for her. Just as I got a grip on it, I caught a black shadow in my peripheral vision, flying right at me. I instinctively turned my head to look, and saw a basketball heading straight for my face. It hit me dead on. The impact sent me sprawling to the ground. The open water bottle tipped over, splashing water all over my face. In the last moment before I passed out, I thought I saw a look of panic on Alex's face. I cursed inwardly. What bad luck! Nothing good ever happens when Alex is around. Then I collapsed on the ground, unconscious. When I woke up, the school nurse had wrapped my head like a mummy. She was smiling apologetically, but my attention was completely fixed on her forehead. 3 large words were floating there, the name of a male celebrity. Just then, the senior who went to get water came back. The moment she walked in, I saw the name on her forehead. Alex. Huh? Is this a superpower? I wondered, eager to get back to the dorm to test my theory. But the nurse and the senior were worried and wanted Alex to come pick me up. My mind was racing with questions. There was no way I could wait for Alex. On the way back to the dorm, I saw all sorts of names. The only thing they had in common was a yellow outline. What the hell is going on? Why does everyone have a name on their forehead? The moment I stepped into the men's dorm, the mystery was solved. I saw names of all lengths, 3, 4, 5 characters on my classmates' foreheads. If you read the name out loud in front of them, they'd instantly treat you like their best friend and eagerly ask if you wanted a link or a torrent. In that moment, I understood everything. The name on the forehead, it's the person you're fantasizing about. So who would the campus heartthrob, my arch-rival Alex, be fantasizing about? I suddenly got excited. It was the thrill of peeking into my enemy's deepest secrets. I paced around the dorm, nervous and anxious, trying to guess who it could be. A Japanese actress? A Korean star? Or maybe something more exciting like a Western celebrity? Then the door opened. I could hear my heart pounding in my chest. Alex closed the door, and the moment he turned around, I froze. Written clearly on Alex's forehead were 3 words. Louis Shaw. Fuck, isn't that my damn name? From that day on, my eyes were completely glued to Alex's face. Or, to be more precise, his forehead. Hey, am I your dinner entertainment? My attention was completely focused on the giant Louis Shaw written on his forehead. I answered a beat too late. Huh? Alex didn't say anything else, but his mood suddenly seemed to improve. This had been going on for several days now. Ever since I found out I was the one Alex was fantasizing about, my eyes would wander to his forehead without me even realizing it. Chunk, our dorm's resident heavyweight, gave a sleazy grin and threw his arm around my shoulder. Louis, my man, since we're both fans of the same actress, I've decided to share my private collection with you. I took a bite of my food, even more confused. What? Then it hit me. I glanced up at Chunk's forehead, a busty, curvy anime character. I cleared my throat twice, declining with a hint of embarrassment. Ahem, you can watch it yourself. I'm not into lolis. Slim elbowed Chunk out of the way and leaned in with a smile. Why watch cartoons? Real men watch real people. Louis, we might look like the cute type, but a man's gotta love long legs. New stuff. I'm heading home this weekend, so you can enjoy it all by yourself. He even gave me a sleazy, suggestive nudge. Across the table, Alex's gaze swept over Chunk and Slim's hands. He said nothing, but his face darkened again. Sitting right opposite him, I saw the whole thing. Humph. What a moody bastard. That weekend, I was lying in bed, bored, scrolling through videos. Suddenly, I got a torrent link from Slim. I clicked on it, and I have to say, the star had some serious assets. I figured I'd been working so hard lately, I deserved a little reward. A little work-life balance, you know? The video started with some tedious plot that was making my skin crawl. The guy was so ugly. How did he get to be the star? The lead should at least look like Alex, right? Tall, handsome, looks lean in clothes but is ripped underneath, and his size, I saw it once in the bathroom. It was beyond imagination. I bet his future girlfriend will be pretty happy. The boring plot finally ended, and I was speechless. I took my pants off for this? Annoyed, I closed the video. Couldn't they just get to the main event? Did I come here to watch you guys make out? Damn it! I burrowed under my covers in a huff, trying to close my eyes and sleep, but my brain had other plans. The 3 words shining on Alex's head suddenly popped into my mind. I shot up in bed, my eyes fixed on the curtain of the bunk next to mine. Alex secretly fantasizes about me? So when does he fantasize about me? If he's fantasizing about me, does that mean the guy has a crush on me? No, that can't be it. After all, those other guys just see porn stars as fantasy objects. It's not like they're in love. So that means Alex just wants to fucking sleep with me? Damn it. I saw him as my rival. And he wants to be my fuck buddy? No wonder he was acting so weird with my shorts on the balcony that day. He was probably thinking all sorts of dirty thoughts. I glared furiously at Alex's bunk, but then a thought struck me. If Alex gets turned on by me, doesn't that mean I can finally get payback for all the crap he's put me through over the years? A plan started to form in my mind. Alex, you and I will see about this. The next morning, I crawled out of bed with a messy mop of hair. As I pulled back my curtain, I saw Alex, beads of sweat on his forehead, just back from his morning workout. He looked pretty respectable, if you could ignore the 3 massive words glowing on his forehead. Alex glanced up at me, then stood in front of his wardrobe and casually pulled his shirt off over his head. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, you could see the handsome lines of his back muscles. He headed for the bathroom in just his shorts. I gripped the bed rail tightly, leaned out and called to him. Alex, yeah? Do you have practice this afternoon? Can you teach me how to play basketball? I looked at him earnestly. I thought it through. Messing with Alex, getting my revenge, that was definitely happening. But being suddenly nice to him might make him suspicious. So, I'd start by showing some weakness. Besides, all the girls like that senior love sporty guys. So I'll learn some basketball, and with my handsome face, heh. Getting a girlfriend will be a piece of cake. Alex just looked at me for a moment, then gave a casual nod. I snorted inwardly. Alex, oh Alex, you've finally fallen into my hands. Don't think I didn't see that tiny smirk you tried to hide when you turned around. Once you know someone's weakness, it's a fatal blow. That afternoon, Alex shoved the basketball into my hands, then turned my stiff body around by the shoulders. I looked up at the high hoop, feeling a little excited. The next second, a warm body pressed against me from behind. His large hands gripped both of my arms, and it felt like I was completely enveloped in his embrace. I instinctively froze. Do you have to be this close to play basketball? His hot breath tickled my ear as his low, serious voice instructed. Arms up, flick your wrist inward, and aim a little higher than the rim. I watched the ball fly in an arc and thud onto the court. I rubbed my nose awkwardly. Ha, this is hard. Alex's expression didn't change. He picked up the ball and came back. Again. Seeing how seriously he was teaching me, I felt bad for letting my mind wander and started to focus on learning to shoot. After a little while, I started to notice more people gathering around the court, mostly girls. I instantly perked up. Of course, everyone loves watching a handsome guy play ball. Then a bucket of cold water was dumped over my head. I overheard one of the girls saying to her friend, Look, Alex's hand is on that cutie's waist. And when he shoots, Alex leans in and sniffs his neck. Whoa, you're right. The cutie is adorable, getting taken advantage of by that scheming cool guy and he doesn't even know it. He's looking over here. You think we were too loud and he heard us? Hearing them say that, I immediately snapped my gaze back. All the little things I hadn't noticed while I was practicing were suddenly crystal clear. Alex's body was pressing closer and closer, his heat seeping through our thin clothes. His large hand was on my waist, his strong heartbeat accelerating along with mine. A voice suddenly sounded behind my ear. Focus. I was a bit dazed and didn't hear him clearly. I spun around to ask, what did you say? Huh? The moment I turned, my lips brushed against the soft corner of his. My heart skipped a beat. I immediately wanted to push him away and run, but the large hand on my waist held me firmly in place. For a split second, I could have sworn I saw fire in Alex's eyes. Just as I thought he was going to kiss me without a second thought, he turned me back around. Again. I dazedly followed his movements, practicing. It wasn't until I jumped forward and made a shot that I understood why he wanted to go again. I jumped up and down in excitement, but I accidentally stepped on his foot, lost my balance, and spun around, pinning him to the court face to face. My legs slid to either side of his body, and my butt landed squarely on his inner thighs. He pressed his lips together, his forehead beaded with sweat, and his jaw tensed as he looked up at me. His dark eyes were like a giant vortex. Fuck. He was at full attention. I instantly pushed off his abs to get up. Then, with a beet red face and ears, I sprinted all the way back to the dorm. It was real, personally tested and confirmed. Alex really does react to me, but guys are pretty sensitive down there, so did he get hard just because I sat on him? No, I have to test this further. That weekend, Chunk and Slim both went home. While Alex was in the shower, I quietly tiptoed over to his bed. I was planning to peek at his phone and laptop to see if he had any porn. I know it was a crappy thing to do and I felt like a creep, but I was just too curious. I felt around his pillow and found his phone. The water was still running in the bathroom. First, I tried Alex's birthday. Wrong. Then I tried his student ID. Still wrong. Next was his favorite basketball player. Wrong again. With the number of attempts dwindling, my brain short-circuited and I typed in my own birthday. It opened. In that second, my mind was blown. The next second, I tapped into his photo album. It was completely empty. Humph. Does he think that can stop me, Louis Shaw? Of course not. I long pressed the text next to the album icon to open the hidden space, and confidently typed in my own birthday again as the password. Sure enough, it opened. But the moment it opened, I was completely dumbfounded. It was filled with pictures of me. It started with photos from when we were kids all the way up to the most recent ones. You could even see the glare on the older ones from where he had taken pictures of physical photos. In an instant, I broke out in goosebumps. Damn, is this for real? The entire hidden album didn't have a single pornographic video like I'd expected. Not one picture of a girl. Besides my photos, there was nothing. My hands felt cold and clammy as I swallowed hard. At the very bottom, there was a small video with a black thumbnail. My hand trembled as I instinctively tapped on it. The video was a screen recording. On the screen, a teenage boy was asleep at his desk, looking peaceful. The phone itself was in a dark space, and a low, raspy voice could be heard. As the phone started to shake more and more violently, the sound abruptly stopped. A few small, dark specks splattered onto the face of the boy on the screen. I jumped, instinctively throwing the phone away from me. The bathroom door slammed open behind me. Alex, still dripping wet, walked out while toweling his hair. Seeing me kneeling on his bed, his eyes darkened. His voice was low as he asked, "Louis, what are you doing on my bed?" I trembled, the blush on my face so hot I felt like I was burning up. What could I be doing? I stammered defensively. I was about to grab the rail to climb down when my eyes fell on the phone screen. It was still brightly displaying all my photos. A chill ran down my spine. If Alex found out I saw this, with his strength and personality, he'd deal with me on the spot. I immediately dove forward, just as Alex frowned and strode over. I moved with all the speed I could muster, grabbed the phone, and quickly exited the album. Just as he stepped on the ladder and pulled back the curtain, I was sweating profusely, giving him a strained smile and waving the locked phone. I wanted to borrow your phone, haha, to call my mom. Alex's searching gaze rested on my face. After a long moment, he tensed his jaw and climbed back down. I got off the bed, phone in hand. To seem less suspicious, I even sat down in his chair right in front of him. Under his icy stare, my nerves were shot. I lit up the screen, instinctively typed in the password, and expertly dialed the number. But before I could hit call, a large hand clamped down on mine. I froze and looked up at Alex. His face was expressionless, but his eyes held a strange mix of amusement and excitement as he watched me, seeming to analyze my every micro-expression. Louis, how did you know my lock screen password? My breath caught in my throat. I opened my mouth, stammering, and then I just shoved him and bolted for the door. I don't know why I ran, but I knew if I didn't, I was totally screwed. I had just reached the door when I felt an arm snake tightly around my waist. The next second, my vision blurred, and I was slammed down onto the desk. Alex, what are you doing? He had me pinned to the desk, and my legs were kicking wildly against him. What do you think, Louis? What the hell do you think? At first, he was just frowning and holding me down, until one of my kicks knocked his towel off. Can't you tie your towel a little tighter? The next thing I knew, I was pinned to the desk and he was kissing me fiercely. His lips were scorching hot. With just one hand, he had both of my wrists completely pinned down. He slipped his other hand under the hem of my t-shirt, his fingertips dancing across my back, exploring everywhere without restraint. I couldn't help but let out a sob. I was curled up in my blankets, having cried my eyes out in the dorm. If our dorm beds weren't top bunks, if Alex could have easily dragged me up there, I would have been a goner for sure. Even though Alex fantasized about me, and even though he kissed me, I'm still 100% straight. When I got a text from the senior, I couldn't help but run over. Even though I knew her head was topped with 3 big words, Alex's name, and that she mostly just asked me about him, I still couldn't resist. I rushed excitedly to the spot she mentioned. When I was still a few yards away, I saw the tall guy standing next to her. Damn it, what is Alex doing here? In that moment, I decided I wasn't that desperate for a girl. I turned to sneak away, but a large hand grabbed me by the scruff of my neck. Where are you going, Louis? Those 2 soft words, whispered in my ear, instantly brought back the memory of being pressed against the desk. The searing heat, unable to move. No, nowhere. His hot hand gave the back of my neck a suggestive squeeze. Good. Let's go talk over there. Talk? Talk about what? Talk about how I found out he's been saving pictures of me since we were kids on his phone? Damn it, he wants to sleep with me, wants me as a fuck buddy, and that's not enough? Now he wants to use my embarrassing old photos as blackmail? This is infuriating. Fine. Let's talk. Whoever chickens out is a coward. We went over to a small grove of trees near the picnic area. A large tree conveniently blocked the view from the others. I had been all bluster a moment ago, but now that it was just the 2 of us, I started to lose my nerve. So, what do you want to talk about? Alex didn't speak. He just kept looking at me, making my skin crawl. Say something. After a long silence, he finally spoke. Louis, have you always hated me? I was stunned for a moment, then I instinctively denied it. Who hates you? I just can't stand you sometimes. I'm not some magnanimous, considerate person. I'm just a normal guy, so it's normal to be jealous of other people, right? Thinking about everything I'd been through over the years, how our parents always compared me to Alex. Damn it, the more I thought about it, the more wronged I felt, the worse I felt. Before Alex could even say anything else, I started to choke up. Alex, do you have any idea what my life has been like? No matter what I do, I'm always hearing your name, and we just had to live right across from each other. I couldn't escape even if I wanted to. Whenever you're around, all eyes are on you. So what about me? What do my sweat and effort count for? Am I just a stepping stone for your greatness? I do kind of hate you. Who would like having someone else's name constantly shoved in their face? I'm not some donkey chasing after you. First, Alex listened to me seriously. But when I mentioned the donkey, He couldn't hold it in and let out a chuckle, which instantly made my face burn with anger. I exploded, "You're laughing." He immediately nodded and apologized, but the smirk playing on his lips didn't look very sincere. "Sorry. You?" I was about to die of anger. Fuming, I turned to leave, but he grabbed me from behind, wrapping his arms tightly around my waist. "Let go." He held on and didn't move. I struggled a bit but couldn't break free, and I didn't dare move too much for fear of our classmates at the picnic seeing us. "Louis." He held me and softly called my nickname. I shivered, goosebumps rising all over my skin. "Why are you calling me by my nickname? And in that syrupy voice? Are you trying to kill me?" He chuckled softly, his voice gentle. "You're not the donkey chasing a carrot. I'm the donkey." Huh? First I was confused, and then I thought Alex was nuts. He's even trying to one-up me on being a donkey? Why am I even more angry now? Then what am I? The donkey crap trailing behind you? Alex laughed out loud. "You're the sweet carrot. Just one look at you is enough to make me chase you for a very long time." A tingling sensation spread through me, and my face flushed red all the way to my ears. "Are you crazy? Who wants to be a carrot?" He held me, his embrace tightening. Finally, his warm lips pressed a reverent kiss on the back of my neck. My body instantly went rigid. "Louis, don't hate me. You have no idea how hard I've worked to prove I'm capable of taking care of you. Also, I could love you." Fuck, what did Alex just say? He loves me? Goosebumps erupted all over my body. I spun around abruptly. He must have thought I was trying to run, because he suddenly slammed me against the large tree behind me. Our eyes met. Alex's were filled with an undisguised, surging love. My scalp tingled. You said you love me?" I asked, my voice trembling. Alex's eyes were dark as he nodded. "Yeah. I've loved you since we were kids. I don't know how I got back to the dorm after that." My mind was just completely occupied by Alex. All I could see was his annoying, tag-along face from all through our childhood. When I was 8, I had a date to walk home from school with the prettiest girl in the other class. She had the cutest smile, showing off 2 little gaps in her teeth. Then Alex showed up like the villain in a movie, his backpack slung over his shoulder. The little cool guy had a serious face on as he pointed at me. "The teacher wants to see you." My eyes went wide, thinking I'd been caught for not finishing my homework that morning. I forgot all about the pretty girl and bolted for the homeroom teacher's office. When I got there, I saw the teacher holding my homework booklet, just as I'd feared. I stood in front of her desk with my head down, expecting a scolding. But instead, she seriously praised me. "You've been much more focused on your problems lately. Keep up the good work." 15 minutes later, standing outside the office with my homework, I stared at the handwriting that looked exactly like mine and fell into deep thought. When the hell did I do this homework? Did I do it in my sleep? Later, after a long investigation, I finally found out that on the day I'd handed in the empty booklet, Alex hadn't taken it to the office. Instead, he secretly did my language arts homework for me during math class. Humph. Alex must have been trying to humiliate me. I was so pissed. After that, I started doing my own homework every day, never giving Alex another chance to secretly humiliate me. After we got into a good high school, I really wanted to be class president, especially so I could boss Alex around. Later, during the election, Alex said he just wanted to focus on his studies. I won, just like I'd hoped. I was so happy that the next day I even gave Alex a rare smile. Being class president wasn't too much work, and I used it as an opportunity to talk to the girls in our class. I was happy. A few days later, the monthly exam was super hard, and my grades dropped. When the teacher called me to her office, I overheard Alex ratting me out to our homeroom teacher. His grades have really slipped lately. It's a bad look for the class president's grades to be so low. Teacher, why don't you move our desks together? I can help him study. And the teacher agreed. He actually agreed. So Alex and I became desk mates, and we were for 3 years. That picture on his phone of me sleeping at my desk must have been taken back then. When it came time for college, to get away from him, I specifically chose a university far from home, just so I wouldn't be with Alex. But who knew? That bastard actually called our homeroom teacher personally to ask what my top choices were, and the teacher told him. Ugh. I was destined to be the perennial number 2, living in Alex's shadow. It was enough to make a person explode. When my parents heard my reluctant tone, they told me to stop being so sensitive, that Alex could take care of me if he was there. Take care of me how? Take care of me all the way into his bed? Ugh. You guys have no idea what his intentions are. He's got ulterior motives. I decided to get a girlfriend. I'd put a stop to Alex's delusions about me once and for all. But finding a girlfriend isn't that easy. So I paid a guy from the anime club $200 to dress in drag. The guy, with his long, straight black hair and sweet smile, looked pretty good on my arm as we walked around campus, and we definitely turned some heads. The plan was working. I immediately pulled him over to the basketball court, where Alex was still sweating it out. His eyes casually swept in our direction, and in the next instant, he slammed the basketball to the ground, his eyes looking like they were on fire. The senior from the anime club next to me jumped in fright and hid behind me, grabbing my shirt and asking in a trembling voice, $200? That doesn't include getting beat up. I was starting to panic a little too. Seeing Alex striding angrily towards us, I was afraid he'd start throwing punches, and even more afraid I wouldn't be able to afford the hospital bill. I immediately stepped in front of the guy. That was a mistake. After I shielded him, Alex's rage meter went even higher. He stood in front of me, his tone as cold as ice. Move. I didn't dare budge. If I moved, the guy behind me would be in for a world of hurt. What are you doing? Don't you threaten people. I stammered, blocking the way, which only made Alex angrier. Louis, you really know how to piss me off. Huh? I gave you a chance, I gave you time, and this isn't so you can go around cheating on me. I was stunned for a second, and then my own anger flared. Are you insane? Who's cheating on you? We're not even together. Alex, stone-faced, pulled his phone out of his pocket and tossed it at me. With trembling hands, I played the video. In it, my face was flushed red, and I was clinging to Alex's arm with a bottle of booze in my hand. I was giggling foolishly, proudly puffing out my thin chest and saying, Alex, you have good taste, liking me, even though I don't like you that much, we can be friends. Alex wasn't in the frame, but you could hear his pitiful sounding voice. So, will you help a friend out? I stared blankly at the camera, nodded seriously, and slurred out one word. Help! Alex laughed and reached out to pinch my cheek, which I dodged. I need a boyfriend, and you happen to be a guy, so will you be my boyfriend? The person in the video looked completely lost, my drunken brain totally unable to process such a complex question. After a long pause, I was so sleepy I could barely keep my eyes open, and I finally mumbled an image. Okay, fine then. The video ended abruptly. I stared at Alex with wide eyes. I was drunk. That doesn't count. The last time he told me he liked me, he dragged a reluctant me out for drinks, saying we needed to talk. All I remember after that is getting wasted. I have no memory of agreeing to be his boyfriend. Alex snorted coldly. So you're denying it now? Getting drunk? Using me and tossing me aside? And now you're cheating on me? My head was spinning. People around us were starting to gossip and watch. Even the guy behind me piped up in a high-pitched voice, you didn't say anything about this. How could I? I didn't even know I was Alex's boyfriend. Alex's eyes were locked on the guy in drag, looking like he wanted to eat him alive. Then, I heard two familiar female voices. Oh my God. Every time I come to the basketball court, there's a surprise. Today, it's a total showdown. You're so bad at reading situations. This isn't a showdown. It's obviously the cutie hanging out with his girlfriend and the cool guy getting jealous over nothing. What? How can you tell? Dummy. Look at that girl's ankle. The bone is so prominent. As a med student, I can tell those are a man's legs. No doubt about it. A man? Isn't that even worse? What's so bad about it? He's not even as tall as the cutie. What kind of future is there for two bottoms? The two of them chatted excitedly. The three of us on the court fell into a stunned silence. The guy in drag behind me tugged on my shirt and spoke awkwardly. Hey, I have to go. So, you and your husband have a nice chat. And then, right before my eyes, he ran off without looking back. Don't go. My sweet, sweet money. How will I live without you? The air was deadly quiet. Even those two girls had hidden in a corner to watch from a distance. Seriously, guys, couldn't you keep up the gossip? Because I'm really scared Alex is about to beat me up. As it turned out, Alex doesn't resort to violence easily. He grabbed my wrist and started power walking, not stopping until we reached the dorm, where he yanked me inside. Alex, I had taken in so much information today, I didn't even know where to start. Alex's chest heaved a couple of times. Finally, he sagged against the door in defeat. He lowered his gaze, and the next second, to my utter shock, a few tears slid down his face. I made Alex cry. First came the panic, but then a strange joy surged through me. A little thrill of victory. I'm really not a good person. Alex, don't cry. In all the years I'd known him, even in high school when I got cornered by some bullies and he got into a fight for me and broke his arm, he never cried this hard. It would be a lie to say I wasn't moved. Thinking about it, Alex was cold to everyone. I was the only one who could get him to pull pranks or act out. His life must be pretty boring. He's kind of pathetic, huh? I was at a loss. It was always Alex comforting me. I'd never had to comfort him. He covered his face. He wasn't making a sound, but watching him just made my heart ache. Don't cry. You're making me feel bad. Alex leaned against the door, his eyes fixed on the floor. His voice was muffled. I thought if I just didn't give up, if I always stayed by your side, you would eventually like me. Even if you liked girls, I thought maybe you'd turn around and look at me. But when you actually showed up with a girl, Lewis, I was about to explode. I even wanted to hurt her. He roughly wiped away a tear, his voice still thick with emotion. Didn't you say you hated me? That you thought I was better than you at everything? That you were jealous of me? Then use my love for you to get your revenge. I froze. Huh? Has Alex lost his mind? What kind of crazy path was he suggesting? He took a step forward, grabbed my hand, and pressed it against his pounding chest. Beneath the thin fabric was his solid pectoral muscle. Let me grind levels in your games every day, bring you food, save you seats, wash your socks, teach you basketball. Just get your revenge on me like that. I stared at him, dumbfounded, my voice hesitant. But you already do all of those things, don't you? He gave a bitter smile and pulled me closer. Then what else do you want me to do? The distance between us shrank, our breaths mingling. My brain felt like it was full of mush. When he leaned in to kiss me, I didn't even push him away. He whispered, Lewis, I'm really good at this. Want to give it a try? He held me in his arms, the hem of my shirt stuffed in my mouth to bite down on. His large, hot hand gripped me tightly. In the moment of release, my mind went white. All I could remember was Alex saying he was pretty good. And he was pretty good. Stars dotted my vision. I was still dazed when he turned my face and kissed me fiercely. My lips were numb and swollen from his biting. When he finally let go, I stared at him with unfocused eyes. Alex, do you really love me? My mind flashed back to all the photos in the hidden album on his phone, and the big name on his forehead. I love you. I love you so much. My fingertips traced the side of his face. I suddenly felt a thrill. A strong man who was better than me in every way, was telling me I could get my revenge on him however I wanted. This was awesome. I stood up and straddled Alex's lap, ignoring the rising bulge against me, and reached out to pinch his ear. Kiss me. His eyes burned as he tilted his head up to kiss me, but the moment his tongue tried to slip in, I pushed him away with a slap. His face turned to the side from the force, but he looked back at me, a little excited. No tongue. He looked at me with pitiful eyes, but still leaned in to kiss me. For the entire afternoon, he was like my own personal, life-sized Ken doll, doing whatever I said. Alex, you finally got what was coming to you. If I had known being loved was this awesome, I would have had Alex wrapped around my finger ages ago. Why wait until today? I was secretly thrilled. But the next day, I woke up and instinctively looked at Alex, then froze. The name on Alex's head was gone. Where did the name go? Slim, in the next bunk, pulled his curtain open. What time is it? The name of the three-character female celebrity on his forehead was different from yesterday's. But even if the person changed, you could still see the clear, yellow outlined letters on his forehead. I quickly scrambled down and, right in front of my roommates, reached out and touched Alex's forehead. No matter how much I touched it, the name wouldn't appear. Alex looked at me, confused. What's wrong? Damn it. They say men are animals ruled by their dicks. We only went halfway, and Alex is already giving me post-nut clarity? Or is it, you don't cherish what you've already obtained? I started to feel a little sad. When Alex handed me a meat bun, I took a vicious bite. My favorite bun suddenly tasted bland. For a whole week, it was like Alex was exempt from the laws of my superpower. Every man, woman, and child in the whole school had a name on their forehead except him. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I ended up just ignoring Alex completely. The most infuriating part was that I had a dream that night. I dreamed of Alex obediently kneeling on the ground, helping me. Get off. He asked me in a hoarse voice, Louis, does that feel good? The next day, damn it, as I was sleepily washing my face in the mirror, I was startled by the three bright words on my own forehead. Alex was hanging there solid and bright. Who's fantasizing about him? Ridiculous. But when I thought of his handsome face, his puffed out cheeks, I couldn't help but get hard. Alex didn't say a word about my hot and cold behavior. He just quietly booked a hotel for the weekend. What are we going to a hotel for this weekend? Alex stated it plainly, to watch a movie. I thought he meant one of those esports hotels, where you watch tournaments and play games. Clueless as I was about the things guys do with other guys, I got into the taxi with Alex. Staring at the waterbed covered in rose petals, I suddenly felt a chill run down my spine. Actually, celibacy is pretty great, really. My clothes were peeled off like an onion. My lips were devoured fiercely, and my consciousness began to blur with the rocking of the waterbed. In a daze, I clearly saw Alex's name in the reflection on the ceiling mirror. Louis Shaw. My heart, which had been tense for so long, suddenly relaxed for some reason. So, Alex does still love me. I tightened my grip on his arm and gently kissed the corner of his lips. Alex, you have to love me forever. He froze for a moment, then kissed me even more fiercely. Okay. The sounds of our whimpers filled the night. Two names collided again and again. It wasn't quite like a simple rivalry or brotherhood. It felt more like love. When I went home for summer break, I was still a little nervous. Liking guys is a pretty big deal, and I didn't know if my parents would be able to accept it. Who knew? Alex held my hand in front of them, and both sets of parents didn't react at all. I tugged on Alex's sleeve and whispered, "This is the first I'm hearing that our parents are so open-minded." Alex chuckled. "Isn't it good? No pressure on you at all." I nodded. It was good, but it also felt like my parents didn't care that much about me. That night, I was playing games with Alex in my room and got thirsty. I went out to get some water. As I stepped out, I happened to hear both our parents talking about us. My mom. When Alex came and told me he liked Louis, I was honestly terrified. But he was right. Just rejecting him because he's a boy would be denying the fact that he loves Louis, and that's not fair to him. Alex's mom. He told me and his dad as soon as he realized it. You know Louis's personality. I figured it probably wouldn't work out, so I generously gave my blessing. Alex's dad. With how devoted your son is to Louis, if he failed, I really don't know who Louis would end up with. My dad was next to them, nodding in agreement. I tightened my grip on the water glass. So it wasn't that my parents were progressive. It was that Alex, before I even liked him back, before I had even decided to be with him, had already paved the way for me. I went back into the room and looked at Alex, asking him softly, "Alex, what if I still didn't fall in love with you?" Alex's eyes seemed to glaze over for a moment. He reached out and pulled me into his arms. "Then I would have just kept waiting until you did." I could only see his jaw from my angle, but his words made me think of a pervert getting high off someone's shorts. "Then I'll just wait until you don't like her anymore." My eyes started to sting, and my chest felt tight. I looked up and kissed the corner of his lips. "Don't wait anymore, 'cause right now I like you a lot." Our lips met in a room filled with the setting sun. The last rays of light spilled across the floor, playing a song just for us.